Hello, this is The Travels by Marco Polo. I wasn't planning to make a video about this because Steve and Mark at Book Time with Elvis make their own announcements that they were gonna be reading this, and I was just planning to follow. But I just finished the book, and you guys haven't made any video, and I would love to know what you think about, because I don't know what I think about it. I was watching the video that they made, and I was thinking, yeah, the Travels, Marco Polo. I have read the Travels from Marco Polo. Yeah, I can remember. I have read the Travel. Have I read the Travels from Marco Polo? And the reason why it was so shocking for me that I had not before read this book, it's because I was a big fan of Marco Polo through the cartoons that I watched when I was a kid, called The Adventures of Marco Polo or something like that. And that made me believe that, combined with the fact that back in Spain, many of my friends call me jokingly Marco Polo, made me assume that I had read this book. I never even considered reading it because for me it was on the already read list. Just because when I was a kid I watched obsessively watched many episodes of the cartoon series or something like that. I don't even remember. I don't remember. That's why I confused it with the book. But this was a first read, and actually at the beginning I was not enjoying this book. It took me a while to get rid of the expectations that I had for it, because I knew the story, and I was just hoping for a more narratively based writing. This, for most of this book, is just a series of descriptions of one city and then another city and then another city and the customs there, and I was hoping for more first person or something like that kind of approach. I know that this was not written by Marco Polo. It was written by a writer that was with him in jail once he got back to Venice. I'm not gonna give you the background, because for the background you should go to Mark at Book Time with Elvis and Steve Donaghy, which have already made a couple of videos superficially talking about the book, and I am sure they will make another video at least once they finish the book. So yeah, I'm not gonna talk about the story. I don't want to spoil it or anything. I'm just saying I had some expectations for this book, and it completely I was completely disappointed at the beginning. My fault for having any expectations. And then as I was reading more and more and more, I realized that this is actually very interesting. So it's not a novel. It's not you will not find sort of the literary execution that you would expect in other books like that. And also there is not a narrative with a plot necessarily that will sort of leave you wanting more in every chapter or anything like that. However, what it does have is very interesting observations from someone who was there, who did travel to those places. Obviously there are certain exaggerations here. I don't think it's black or white. I've seen that there's a whole polemic with whether this book is a whole lie from Marco Polo or not. For me, it's clearly not a lie, but as all travelers, as all people do, he definitely adorned his anecdotes. Of that I'm sure, I have no doubt. But that makes it an even better book. And I finally got rid of those expectations and just took the book for what it is, and started enjoying it way more, and started thinking, I want to reread this book once I am doing the Silk Road, which will not be long from now. It will be probably next year. And if I'm not doing the Silk Road, that will be because I will be going by sea to those places. I'm gonna basically go to the east next year. And I was planning to do it by foot, but another option is to do it by boat. either way, this would be an amazing book to carry, and then actually read when you're going to those places. It's like not only it's not so much a travel book in that sense as a travel guide, and but of course you also have individual narratives of certain moments, certain things that happen. When they are walking to the to see the Khan, and they have to go like for, I don't know if it's a whole year, but like just a crazy amount of time and to meet him. And also at the end of the book they're talking like about the different wars and that happened between the Khans and everything. That was way more sort of like you could pretty much like take those stories of the different wars between the kings and make a play or something. So that the ending was much more satisfactory in that sense. Also, I don't know, just so many details, so many observations that if you are familiar with the world today, you can see sort of like you can see it reflected and echoed from Marco Polo's time. Particularly, I loved when he was talking about Madagascar and about this eagle that it's twice the size of an eagle, and like sometimes it will happen often that he will describe an animal that he has never seen before, and he describes it pretty much accurately. But for him, like a rhino, it's an unicorn, and in Madagascar I think he was talking of the condor. That's my guess, because the descriptions he gave was like basically an eagle that is bigger than an eagle that will carry like he would say this is the kind of exaggeration I was talking about. That will grab an elephant and lift it up and let it fall, right, in order to eat the flesh. I don't think a condor can carry an elephant, but they can definitely carry deer and very big cattle and other animals. So yeah, condors are just an animal that I'm fascinated about. It used to be my favorite animal, if there's such a thing as favorite animal. I think that's a horrible way to put it, but yeah. So there is culture and history and even like science of the time here, and that is very interesting. Definitely worth reading. Don't make the mistake I made of having expectations a priori, but also a must read if you are anywhere near or going to these places, because I think then is when the book really becomes I think is when it really pays off, at least for me. Or if you are into history, I guess then you get a greater payoff as well, because he's talking about things that you would know. I don't know enough history to do that. In most cases, I was learning about the conflicts and the events that happen in this book firsthand for the first time. But I will definitely go to those places and maybe read more about that time now after having read this. So yeah, definitely recommend it. And I can guess that the reason why Steve says that he has read this book over 500 times, because like as I was saying that, and I was realizing that this book is so good to carry with you when you go to those places. I couldn't help thinking that this might be one of the 5 books that he carried with him when he was traveling, because I cannot think of any other scenario where someone would read a book 500 times, except if you have only this book and you are in the place that this book is talking about, which is definitely what I plan to do someday. So yeah, that's really cool, and please guys, make a video about this. I really want to know what you think.